Hello, everybody. It's not morning. It's not here with Miss Robinette. I fed kids at the cafeteria this morning, and then I went to my classroom and started cleaning some stuff up there. And so then I did Zoom when I got home after I got my stitches out. I still got it covered up because it's gross looking. But today is day 13, AMI math, and it's 2 pages. The first page looks like this. And it's got all of the shapes on it. These are all quadrilaterals. Quadrilateral is just another word for a 4-sided figure, okay? So when you look at it, it's classifying these in 5 different ways, all right? And one of the reasons why I included this in the packet is because you will have to know about these. I'm not just making this up. Okay, they're going to ask you specific questions about why are these the same? Why are these different? What do they have in common? It's going to talk about parallel sides. It's going to talk about their angles, which is the corners and stuff. So it's pretty self-explanatory when you look at it. It's just going based on definitions. So when you first look at it, the initial figure is a weird looking little shape. It's at the top and it's called a quadrilateral. Okay, it's just any shape with 4 straight sides, okay, and angles. That means it doesn't have any curves or anything like that. It's just straight sides, so 4 sides and 4 angles, all right? And then they start breaking it down, okay? Just like in my class, I've got boys and I've got girls, but then when I break it down, it's like, oh, well, I've got a girl named Madison. I've got a boy named Tucker. I've got a girl, I've got a boy named, okay? So this is the same thing. You start being specific. All right, one of the first ones they talk about is to the left there. It's a trapezoid, okay? A trapezoid is any 4-sided figure with only one set of parallel sides. When you look at that one, it kind of is a weird looking shape. They can be situated in any direction they want, and sometimes you see both of those kind of have like funny looking angles. Sometimes a trapezoid will have a straight side and then the other side is angled. So that's how you know though, because it only has one set of parallel sides. So it's kind of all by itself over there. It doesn't have any friends. All right. Then you look towards the middle. And the very first thing that it talks about is a parallelogram, all right? So parallelogram means that there are 2 sets of parallel sides. So a rectangle is also a parallelogram. A square is also a parallelogram. A rhombus is also a parallelogram, okay? So that is just a general term, like if they said you're a teacher. It's a general term. Quadrilateral is general. Parallelogram is general. It means there's 2 sets of parallel sides, okay? So it also says the sides are congruent. Congruent just means they're the same size and the same shape, okay? Like on a rectangle, the top and the bottom are congruent. They're the same length. And then the left side and the right side are congruent. They're the same length, okay? That's the definition kind of there, all right? When you look over to the left, far left, it's under the trapezoid, that's rectangle, okay? Everybody knows what one looks like, but as you get in 5th grade and you start going up, they start being really, really ticky about it. They start saying the opposite sides are parallel. The opposite sides are congruent. Now, y'all remember what parallel means, right? They're the same distance apart and the lines don't touch, okay? And the same thing this way. They're the same distance apart and the lines don't touch. All right, but then it also talks about right angles. And y'all know what a right angle is. That's where it looks like there's a little box in the corner, okay? It's that perfect L-looking shape when you look at it. Okay, the L might be in different directions, but it's still that perfect little L shape, all right? Then on the far right side, it's a rhombus, okay? It's parallel, but there's no right angles. So that's how it's different than a rectangle. All the sides are also congruent. So it's kind of like a jacked up square. It doesn't have right angles, all right? So a rhombus is like a square. and a parallelogram is more like a rectangle, okay? Because it talks about the opposite sides being the same. And on the rhombus, all the sides are the same. There's just not right angles, okay? Same thing with square. Square is a rhombus. Square is a rectangle. Square is a parallelogram. Square is a quadrilateral. All of those definitions fit a square because a square has opposite sides that are parallel. A square has opposite sides that are congruent. They have right angles, okay? So it has 4 sides. Square is everything, okay? So if they ever say, is a square a rectangle? You go, yeah, it is. Is a square a rhombus? Yeah, it is. Is a square a parallelogram? Yeah. Is a square a quadrilateral? Now, is a rectangle a square? Negative, Ghost Rider. It is not. Okay? What's the definition of square? All the sides are the same. On a rectangle, are all the sides the same? No. Okay? So that's what you got to remember. That's why a rectangle is not a square, because all the sides are not the same. Okay, again, that's what this tells you about. That's what this picture is about right here. Okay? Then you come to the second page. That's where the work is. All right, so the first question says, describe the attributes, meaning the qualities, what it is, of each quadrilateral, and then classify the quadrilateral. So tell me what's special about it on number 3. What's all the sides? What's special about it? And then what do you think the name of that shape is? Okay. Number 4, same thing. What's special about it? All those things. Go back to this page. Look at all your definitions here. What are you saying? Are the opposite sides parallel? Are the opposite sides congruent? All that stuff. That's what you're going to list there on that one. And then you're going to tell me what you think the name of the shape is. Okay? Number 5, it says circle the quadrilaterals that have all the attributes of a parallelogram. So you got to go back and look at what was a parallelogram. Quadrilateral with opposite sides congruent and parallel. I had to look for a minute. Okay. All right. Number 6, circle the quadrilaterals that have the attributes of a rhombus. So you got to go back and look at what was the thing for the rhombus. Okay. Number 7 says state whether it's true or false and tell me why. Okay. All parallelograms have opposite sides congruent and parallel. Since rectangles are parallelograms, all rectangles have opposite sides that are congruent and parallel. So you got to kind of read it and then you tell me if it's true or false. All right. All squares have 4 congruent sides. Since rectangles are squares, all rectangles have 4 congruent sides. We kind of just talked about that. Okay. That's it. There's just those few questions right there, all right, for you to answer, and then you're done with today's work. Y'all probably not even waited on me, and you've already done all this, okay? Tomorrow, I'll come in and actually talk to you about it, but it's just talking about quadrilaterals again tomorrow. So if you want to, you could probably do it today and get it over with. You're just going to look back at these definitions right here from this picture, and then you'll be able to do the work for that one, all right? Like I said, I'll be at cafeteria tomorrow. If you're going to do lunch, you can come see me and yell, "Hi, Miss Robinette," out the window. Now, I don't know specifics about, I did call, or one of your teachers called you yesterday about whether you wanted to do school online from now until May, or if you needed a packet. So be sure that you've let your homeroom teacher know which one that you're going to be able to do, and we will mark you down. Also, if you have library books, if you have books that belong to Miss Lusk or Miss May, and recorders, Mr. Indris is going to, when we give out dates, the day that we can do packet pickup, you can also turn all that stuff in. Okay? If you have special stuff in your locker, I don't know anything about that. Like, I went through mine today, and Ethan and Blakely and Cole had stuff in their lockers that, like, was a coat or a book and it had their name in it, not school supplies. Okay. They don't want you inside the school, so like little stuff like school supplies, probably don't plan on getting those back. Okay, but if you have a personal item like a lunchbox or something like that at school and it's in your locker and we can identify it and get it back to you, we will. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. All right, we'll talk more about quadrilaterals. Love you. Bye.